Hello, fourth grade. This is Mr. Malsan. Hope everybody's doing well, staying healthy, staying safe, and hopefully you're getting outside every once in a while. Um, I know the past couple days have been a little bit, well, um, dreary, but try to get up and move. Don't sit in front of your screens for too long. It's important to stay active. Um, I do miss you all very, very much. I was just thinking about today all the music games we play in class and the activities, and it's not the same. It's not the same. Like I've been saying. So please, if you have any free time, come talk to me on Google Hangout, and I'd love to hear from you. So, anyways, we are going to finish up our discussion of the music of Asia. Speaking of which, for those of you who have not submitted your assignment from last week on this topic, please get that into me as soon as you can. I'm still missing some, so please, 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 please get that into me. Okay? All right. Let's finish up by the second part of this. But before we do that, I'd like to go back and review the topic of chords. So, what are chords? The chords are the root. They're three or more notes stacked together, or intervals. Remember we talked about intervals at one point, right? Intervals are the distance between notes. Okay? The distance between the first and the last note and everything that's in between. Okay? So, and because of that, a chord is the root, the third, and the fifth, right? So you have the root, the third, and the fifth. That is a chord. Okay. And we've talked about intervals, so we can skip all that. So, last week we said, okay, if F is at the bottom of a chord, we can say that we know that this is the third, and since we know that this is the fifth, and F is on the bottom, this is an F major. Hold on. My smartboard's being a little funny. Not my smartboard, but my smart notebook program's being a little funny. An F major chord. Okay. Now, we know that this note on the bottom, the root, we consider it, because every chord at the bottom has a root. Kind of like trees have roots, chords have roots. And that's the one that's at the bottom. It's kind of holding the rest of this chord up. Is G, right? Then the one in the middle is B. Then the one on top is D. So because the note on the bottom names the chord, not these guys. They don't name the chord. This one does. So it's a G major chord. One last one. Once again, my smartboard, my smart notebook program. Can you tell that I really need to be back in the school building? My smart notebook program is trying to be a little bit difficult. All right, so we say that this bottom note here is, yes, for those of you who know this, it is D, right? This note we've been learning, it's always a little bit tricky, but yeah, it's D. And then F and A. Remember, these guys don't tell us the name of the chord. They're part of the chord, but they're not the name of the chord. This is a D chord. In 5th grade, we'll know this as a D minor chord, but for right now, we're just calling it a D chord. Okay? Why we need to know chords is because chords are kind of they kind of hold up a song. Okay? You can't have songs without chords. You can have a melody by itself, but if you don't have chords with the melody, a song becomes very boring. For those of you who have been to my channel, my YouTube channel, my Chorster 690 channel, I'm not trying to promote my channel, but for those of you who have been to it and have listened to the songs that I've written, you'll notice that I use a lot of chords in my songs, and I mean a lot of them. And that's because while my melody is really, really important in a lot of my songs, the chords have to really push that melody across. Without it, the song doesn't really go anywhere. So, with that said, let's go to our song. Let's go to the music of Asia. So we took our trip on our flying burrito all the way to the other side of the world. We took a look at Southeast and Eastern Asia. We listened to some music from Vietnam. We listened to some music from India, Indonesia. We didn't get to listen to South Korea because some of the links were broken. So now I found a couple new links that will work. So let's listen to one from South Korea. Here we go. So if you had to describe this particular song, this piece from South Korea, this piece could be from South Korea, it could possibly be from North Korea. You could easily say that this piece has a gentle touch to it. It's very smooth, or the Italian term we like to use is legato, right? It connects. It's soft, or piano, right? It's relaxing. What kind of instruments do you think you hear? Right? All these things are things you can kind of try and figure out while you're listening. I'll let you listen to the rest of that at home. The other one we couldn't listen to right away was Cambodia. So let's take a look at that. Oh, I forgot to mention, and just as a reminder, that just because we don't understand, or we might not understand what somebody is saying in a song, or because something sounds a little bit different than what we are used to, doesn't mean it's wrong, doesn't mean that it's weird, or that it's funny, or that we should make fun of it. We should respect the traditions of any music that we listen to, right? So keep that in mind as you're listening to these different cultures. Because remember, when people come to visit our country and listen to our music, we would want them to show the same respect for our music, the same way we should show the respect for the music of their culture when we go over there, right? So, keep that in mind as you're listening to all this music. So this has more of an upbeat kind of feel to it. The two voices share the same kind of melody in it. And notice the instrument kind of shares in the same melody too. Is there a reason for this? What do you think? Why does the instrument and the voices share the same melody? What instrument are you hearing in this? How many instruments do you hear? I'm curious. Love to hear your thoughts on this piece. I'd also be interested if you go further into this song because, as you can see, there are 36 minutes. We're not going to listen to all 36 minutes, but I'd be interested to see what you think of other parts of this song. All right, skipping ahead. Now we're into Turkey. The country, not the food. I know. Maybe some of you are hungry right now. It's a country centrally located between Europe and Asia. Now, because it's located between two different continents, it kind of musically shares a bunch of different musical cultures. So, some of it is traditional, and some of it is a little bit more modern. So some of their music it comes from Greece. Some of it is Ottoman, Persian, Balkan, Arabic, Central Asian, Middle Eastern. And so many people come from so many different parts of the world, and they live in Turkey. And it's kind of cool. If you ever go there, people just share in their knowledge and their history and their cultures. It's just really kind of um cool to see. And musically, it's really interesting to see and listen to. And you're gonna listen and you're gonna hear that in just a second. Because first we're gonna start off with the Ottoman. So, again, with the Ottoman music, you kind of hear everything moves how? And because of the way the instruments move, here's the trickier question. Can you determine how many instruments are in there? I certainly can't. And I'm a music teacher. I can't tell how many instruments are moving at the same time. Is there simply just a melody going on in this piece? Or are there chords behind it too? Something to think about as you're watching and listening to this presentation. I know we're only getting small parts of each example, but please feel free at home to go through the rest of these. I do want to go to one more example of Turkey here, and I kind of want to go to the Azeri because it's a bit different. But remember, different does not necessarily mean bad. So this is noticeably a bit different, right? So you could say this is very upbeat. Right? You could say the music kind of moves quite a bit. And there are tons and tons and tons of chords in this one. Right? Okay. So that's just a small example of Turkey. Then, lastly, the music of East Asia. East Asia is made up of the countries you're probably most familiar with. China, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Russia. Yep, Russia's part of Europe and Asia, so it kind of double dips as well. And it shares a lot of the same musical qualities as its neighbors. So, China. So this is very peaceful, isn't it? Notice the tempo of the music. How would you describe the tempo? Is it very strict? Like, does it kind of stay steady? Or is it loose? What do you notice about the instruments? Think about that. Let's also take a look at Japan. I kind of like this one, personally, because it just kind of puts me in a really good mood. I like how the singers kind of really just bring energy to the song. But that's just my personal opinion on the song. So, how would you describe this song? That's entirely up to you. So, I'm sorry we didn't have time to listen to the music of Macau, but I don't want to keep you too much longer. So, that is the music of Asia. So, just a reminder, please get those um, assignments from last week into me. Um, and again, I hope everybody's doing well. Please take care of yourself and feel free to email me or talk to me on Google Hangouts with any questions you have. Until then, take care.